Giants fans were logging on, booking their flights to Melbourne until this.
Hello, Joe!
Mighty Joe Danaher lifting the Lions off the canvas to end the year for GWS. Brisbane superstar Will Ashcroft will join us live to tell us exactly how they did it. And the dream is over for the Hawkers as a missed shot from the skipper becomes the stuff of nightmares. Port Adelaide powering home for one of their greatest ever finals. But it wasn't without controversy as Kenny takes aim at the kids. Shot my line. Mitch Georgiades joins us live as they now prepare for the red-hot Swannies. We're moving the target for Hawthorn and Geelong premiership stars Ryan Schoenmakers and Shannon Burns. It's time to celebrate some of the best cult heroes in Lordo's Deep Dive. Plus, we'll take a look back at some of our best and worst what caught my eyes for 2024. The best in the business is here to assess and analyse a thrilling week of finals. There's Damo, Kane, Lordo and Brownie on the cool, the courageous, the all-powerful, the all-conquering Sunday Footy Show. Yes, very good morning. It's great to have your company. A round of applause from the crew. Jeez, this is nice. Even from Paulie Bell, who revealed he had some medical treatment in a food court at a shopping centre through the week. So thanks for being here, Paulie. And there's Paulie there. Clearly needs some more medical treatment by the look of that. Anyway, hey, it is good to have your company. It's also great to have these guys on the panel, as per usual, headed up by Damien Barrett.
Hello, TJ. Look, emotions may have spilled over on this show about 2 weeks ago. We've sorted that out, but they spilled over again, didn't they, in the Adelaide Oval on Friday night. And I want to get all your opinions on what happened there post-match.
Yeah, well, I think our opinions vary, and they're very strong opinions too. Kane Corns is here. How are you, mate?
Great, TJ. Good to be here. I did some radio with Timmy Watson on Wednesday morning.
I was listening to that, and Tim dropped an absolute bombshell.
Revelation, didn't he?
What was it, Kane?
Well, I know, and you've had your say on this, Damo, on Friday night, but one person on the panel, and clearly it's not me. I don't think it's you, TJ, because your loyalties are there for everyone to see, that has been sending a mixtape to another network trying to flee Channel 9. Now, I've put up with all sorts of insults and barbs, and he wants me off the show, and he wants me off the show. Now, I think there's only one person on this panel that
you identify this person in the moment.
Bold enough to send a mixtape to another network.
So when you say a mixtape, it's like a best of.
Tape, like a highlights reel.
Well, if it was him, it wouldn't be a long tape.
Unbelievable.
Is it you?
No, it's not me.
Hang on, is it you?
It's not me, but I know you threw me under the bus on Triple M when it was put to you, and you said it must be Lordo, and I've never ever done
nobody'd come after TJ.
And I've never done anything like that.
So you're shopping yourself around, are you?
No, I'm not.
TJ, I'm about to sit here and cop it from this bloke. He's shown the boxing fight 100 times. I've had to cop it from you, and then he's sending mixtapes.
Hypocrite. What, are you not happy here?
I'm happy. There is no mixtape.
How does Tim Watson find this out?
I've got no idea.
What has happened?
Have you ever, be honest?
Never send a mixtape.
No, come on.
Have not send a mixtape out.
Okay, well,
I don't even have a mixtape.
no one there. So, hey,
Very easy to get the best of.
hang on. I might have a dig at Tim Watson from time to time, but the bloke's got integrity, right? And he would not say that unless there was substance to it.
Now, he didn't name names, but I don't think it's definitely not you, because your loyalty, 38 years, I'm pretty
Your response indicated you knew who it was.
I just don't think...
He didn't name names with Damo either.
No, so
I just know they come to me. I don't chase Sam.
All righty.
Good stuff. Mediocre too today. It's been away for 2 weeks. It's back. We've had our probably our best player. It's a team effort, mediocre, and our best player's off doing some NBL. So it's been a little bit tough. Been a little bit light on. So
That's a big rap for the producer who's taken it over.
That's a team. It's a team effort. Now, Star at the moment is out. So we'll be back.
The other thing I just want to add before we do the results is, when you fly, we've all been flying to interstate games, and what the rules are around if you're a kid, you have to have someone with you, an adult. I think it's 12 the rules. And I heard on the Virgin Airlines that they were questioning whether Kane should be on the plane by himself. That's how he's looking. Take a look at Kane. They questioned. You are shrinking, Kane. I think Kane is shrinking to a level where everyone's saying who is his adult that is accompanying him on the plane.
I was trying to hide. Who
are you trying to hide from? Who have you nailed in on that horse?
No, I'm okay with the Hawks, I think. But if it was the Western Bulldogs, it would have been a different story.
Okay. So when you say you're okay with the Hawks, Are you going to be okay with the Hawks in about 8 minutes
Well,
from
I'm okay now. Come back to me in 20 minutes, TJ.
Right, okay. All right, let's take a look at the results so far for this finals weekend of football. And what an amazing two games.
Yeah, two brilliant finals. Just loved that one on Friday night. Thought Port Adelaide were enormous with their pressure and their hunt and their ability to really shut down Hawthorn. And then last night, you just would not read about the wild swings in momentum of that game, where the Brisbane Lions come from 44 points down to win and book their place in a prelim final.
Yeah, two brilliant finals. So let's have a look at the road to the grand final and ultimately the premiership, because it stands this way. The Giants are out, we know that. So it's going to be Sydney up against Port Adelaide and then Geelong taking on Brisbane. Fantastic stuff.
Alrighty, let's take a look at the Lions and the Giants from last night. Now, I've got to be completely honest and say I hate the word choke. I really, like when Greg Norman choked at the US Masters.
They choked, Tony.
They choked.
4 goals up, TJ, at three-quarter time and 44 points up in the third quarter. You just don't lose from there, but I want to go through it at the plasma, what went wrong for them. But 6 goals to 1 in the last quarter. The Lions knew they had to chase it. They had to go down swinging. The Giants didn't play that way. And we can talk about it, Kane. Is it game style? Is it too taxing? Is it mental? What is it with this team? But they were running on the spot, the Giants, in that last quarter.
Yeah, and then Brisbane just did the... I mean, he's the man. We'll get to him in a moment.
What a goal.
What a finish from that. That was from an insufficient, intent-free kick. There was 3.
And this one was just as difficult, given what was at stake with the kick.
Yeah, and I think the mark that he's taken there, which we'll show in a minute on Sam Taylor, probably the best defender, is unbelievable. So that's Joey Danaher, and he's the match winner, which we'll get to now. But it was a mixed night, as it often is for Joe, and there was some good and there was some bad. So this is early in the game where that one doesn't go through and you think, oh, what sort of night's it going to be for Joe? We see the free kick there against... This is the thing with Joe. This one here is ridiculous. Like that one there is just bizarre that he would even think to do that. This is why I think he's never going to be a superstar of the game, but then he stepped up in the biggest of moments. So you just have to go, well done to him for seizing that moment, for wanting that moment.
Well, he's becoming a final specialist.
Well, yeah, Lordo's pointed out his record in finals, which you reckon he's building to be.
Well, I just wonder, is he a superstar? Is he? Because I don't think there's too many better forwards in the game than him. Like, I know he makes bad mistakes.
Jeez, I tell you what, hasn't the tide turned here?
Yeah, no, but he's always...
earlier in the year, he was the worst thing going around.
No one's ever said he's the worst thing going around.
He's just frustrating.
He's frustrating, he makes a lot of mistakes. But do we have to say he's a, I'm not saying a champion, but he's a wonderful, wonderful footballer.
He was in all Australian conversations, wasn't he, Kane? I mean, you can reveal that now, even though he didn't make the squad, the final cut.
I just think there's a level that has been holding him back, and it's that stuff that we showed there, just the brain fades.
He was just about their best player in the grand final loss last year.
No, and even, so we've spoken about it a lot, but last night you just got to say, if it's not for him, they're not in a prelim final.
We're going to catch up live with Will Ashcroft in the next segment, but there's a lot to talk to Will about, isn't there?
It is, and reputations are built on finals. So we talk about Joe Danaher. We have to talk about this guy who was brilliant against Carlton, but then again last night, with Lachie Neale being down last night, I thought his cleanness, and in particular, have a look at this one, the way he just worked his way through 3 tackles to get the ball to Loam, and he did this sort of stuff all night. Thought he was very good in the first half, but then went to another level in the second half, and I think his touch with the football when he's running forward to find a target, and his brain is absolutely outstanding. I think he's at the top of the tree at the moment in terms of footballers, and he was big again last night, and we'll talk to him. But another big moment happened at the other end. In the last quarter, Brent Daniels, this could have sealed the game. Could have sealed the game. So the free kick is paid, the ball rolls, probably doesn't realise how much pressure he is not under, probably needed to pick it up or go back. He didn't know what the free kick was going to be, but it needed to be a goal. It would have iced the game.
So Matthew Lloyd takes his position at the plasma. How did the Giants do it?
Well, TJ, I think it's over where you can just try and protect the lead. So I think it's maybe the last 2 minutes you can do it. That's about it. Anything longer than that, you don't even waste your time trying to do it, because momentum swings are bigger than we've ever seen before. But this is the Giants. So 15 minutes to go. They refused to take the game forward in the last quarter. So this is what they did. And what you're doing in this situation is all you're doing is you're a sitting duck. So the Lions say, this is great, right? They might be chewing 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, but they are ready just to slingshot whenever they win the ball back. So this just happened pretty much all. So that was 15 minutes to go. This is Joey kicks it in. So Taylor marks it. They're out of position, Brisbane, so you must go and look to go. Make it 26 points. Don't try and be happy with 20 points with 10 minutes to go because it's too long. It's too long. You can't hold on to a lead. We've seen it all year long.
When you're watching this?
I'm thinking that they are seeing, because then they're parking the bus. Look at the numbers Giants have got back there, but if the ball keeps coming in, it came in 24 times in the last quarter. So it's too many times. So then suddenly you start to panic because the lead is being eaten in. And then the mistakes that start to happen you start to throw handballs out and errant handballs, so they're coming again. So the only time they wanted to go was when they got behind in this last quarter. So these are the type of moments that things happen. So panic sets in. You start handballing out. They're all flat-footed because they've just been trying to run down the clock the whole time. Look at the intent from Brisbane. You just can't protect leads anymore. So my view in the game now is when you get 44 points up, you got to go like 50 points up, then 56 points. You can't do what the Giants have done the last couple of weeks.
And we were talking off air about the comparison between Collingwood when they won the grand final, and they could have tried to sort of like put a cap on it, but they just continued to.
Yeah, so just surge. On that, so De Goey kicks a goal and puts them 3 points up. They all looked to Craig McRae and said, do we save the game? He had a sign up say, we need to kick another one to get 9 points up. So that is the modern thinking.
Which led to the side bottom goal.
Which led to the side bottom goal. So I think you cannot protect leads. With the stand rule and the 6-6-6, you can't protect them.
So you mentioned the 44 points. That was sort of got to last night in the third quarter. The previous week against the Swans, they led by 28 points. And then have a look at what they're doing in the last quarters. So collectively now, 3 goals, 3, 4 and 12-6 against. They have ultimately thrown away a genuine crack at a premiership opportunity, this club. And Adam Kingsley, the coach last night, is now left to lament that. This is as shattering a loss and 2-week period as any coach has had.
Yeah, we've just got to improve. We got some feedback today that we weren't good enough, and we got feedback last week, and we're not yet a premiership brand, and we've got to continue to work towards that. Well, the final quarter was the same as really the Swans game, to be fair. You know, we didn't cope with the contest as well as what we would have liked. They capitalised on their opportunities. We didn't really challenge them the other way. You know, we've had those moments across the year, so it's really no surprise. Unfortunately, we haven't really been able to fix it.
It's amazing stuff, really. I mean, to think that you can be 44 points up. So where does this sit in the overall scheme of things with finals comeback?
Well, let's have a look at that now, TJ. It's right up there. So it's second. So you got 1931, 47 Geelong and Carlton. There it is, equal with 1970 grand final, which gets spoken about a lot. That 1993 prelim, Essendon and Adelaide is a famous one as well. And then Western Bulldogs kicked the first 5 goals of that elimination final there in 2022 and lost. So right up there, but to do it 2 weeks in a row and to squander that opportunity that they've had, it's gonna leave some serious mental scars on this group, you would think.
Yeah.
They need to address it like that. So I would almost be calling the group in today or tomorrow and reviewing exactly what went on, so then you can go away in your off-season and have a clear mind of what has gone on. Otherwise, if you don't address it, you wait 10 weeks till you come back to pre-season, those scars just get deeper and deeper. So, yeah, and there's no guarantees you get back there. There isn't.
And what you now need to do is lump in last year as well. Now, they were brilliant last year in the final series, but they lost the preliminary final by a point, and you now package the 2 seasons up. They haven't reached the main game on the back of not being able to seize those moments.
OK, there is a volcano for the ages coming up in a matter of minutes, because this pertains to Friday night at Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide up against Hawthorn. Hawthorn have been the fairy tale story of season 2024, but it was no fairy tale ending.
No, it wasn't. It was 4 goals apiece in the last quarter, and this was just one of the great crumbing goals you'll see in a final, and it was a pleasure to be there. Like, this is what football is about. This is finals football at its finest. The pressure in this game, the intensity in this game was off the charts. So full credit to both sides, but I just thought Weddle there let himself down on Horn Francis, couldn't stick with him. Don't know what Jordan Sweet was doing there, whacking the ball in defensive 50 out, which cost them the goal to Sicily. Then McGuinness, I thought, got hold of Travis Boak with his running power on the wing in that last quarter. So it's just toe-to-toe. They're throwing themselves around. 4 points in it. You see here, huge tackle by Burne-Jones. So this was a game of moments. At the end, any team could have won it. And you're talking about game of moments. Unfortunately, James Sicily just didn't kick this goal at the end, so that's how tight this game was. But full credit to Port Adelaide for responding the way they did after the week they had and taking away the game of Hawthorn.
Yeah, they were brilliant. And I love what Ken Hinkley did. So you've got Houston and you've got Farrell out, your two main halfback flankers, and they were destroyed at halfback flank last week against the Cats. So they move a couple of players. They've got Logan Evans back there, and I love the game of Jace Burgoyne. I didn't think he was ready for the physicality of the first final last week. I thought that he was very much outside, but this game, the other night, at half-back, he flew for everything. So he was good at ground level, he was clean, but when he needed to go in the air, I thought his courage on this game to go in the air time and time again, and he had a cool head. Where everybody else was losing their head the other night, his disposals meant something, his disposals were clean and calm, and this one, to kick the goal, to keep them in front, was fantastic.
Kane, you put out a social media post. I mean, you're full of praise for Port Adelaide, obviously, but what did you mean? Did you say something like they had no right?
Well, they didn't.
Well, can you explain that?
Yeah, I just think with the way that Hawthorn were playing is the best team in it statistically since round 8 or 9 with the momentum that they had. Port Adelaide coming off an 84-point loss. No Burton, no Farrell, no Houston in their defensive to shift the magnets. They had Charlie Dixon, who was selected but then withdrew. They had Todd Marshall, who's hardly played and not ready to be at the level. They've got a young player in Lorenz coming in late for his second game. There was just so many factors going against them and so many factors in the favour of Hawthorn, including some really questionable umpiring decisions which led to goals that changed the momentum of this game. They had no right to win this game of footy. I've got it right up there, like right up there in terms of historical performances. Now, what does it mean? Well, not a whole lot, but it's better than going out in straight sets. They're going to have to do it again against a really good side in Sydney. But for Ken Hinkley to move the Magnets, to shut Hawthorn down against all odds, when he really was coaching for his career, I just thought it was an enormous performance.
Speaking of Ken Hinkley...
Yeah, well, as drama-packed as that final quarter was, the emotion then spilled over post the siren, and we've seen these pictures now regularly, and Ken Hinkley making his way over to the ceremony attached to Luke Bruce's 300th game, but it brought him in contact and in the distance of Hawthorn players. You can see there making the comments to Jack Ginnivan on the back of the "See you in 14 days" tweet that he had on Brodie Grundy earlier in the week, and then the reaction of that comment and those words of the captain, James Sicily, who then took it upon himself to push back on Kenny. You can see Jarman Impey and also Massimo D'Ambrosio trying to calm this situation, and it even spilled over into the lifting and the elevating of Luke Bruce off the ground, with Sicily still spraying Ken Hinkley. So it took off. Let's just have a listen to what everyone now said in this matter, and then we've all got differing views on this. You'll see Ken Hinkley, you'll see Sam Mitchell, and you'll see James Sicily here.
Jack said what he said through the week, and I just told him after the game he wasn't going anywhere. Right. And you know what? I don't know social media. I just do what I do. I probably shouldn't have done it. I should apologise to the boys. I shouldn't have probably done it. But the reality was, you throw something our way, we're going to throw something back occasionally.
We had a very young player who was having had some very aggressive words said to him by a much older man who's been in the game for a long time, and the captain of my club stood up for him. And so I think it's really tough to sit here right now getting rushed by the AFL. Make sure you're at your press conference on time. And so I understand the emotions of this time of year are really, really difficult, and I'm really proud of our captain, who would have been just as emotional, who was able to stand up and lead in a way that he could be proud of.
Will you seek to speak to Ken after that?
Absolutely not.
There was an incident after the game where I had some words with a Hawthorn player that I wish I hadn't had in a moment that I shouldn't have had. But it was an emotional game, a big result. There was stuff said during last week that I certainly didn't enjoy, but I shouldn't have let that moment get to me.
It's not the first time that Ken's done that, won't be the last, but it's an emotional game and sometimes it gets the better of us. All the best to them for the rest of the finals. But as I said, I'll always defend my teammates.
All right, and that brings us to the volcano.
Jeez, he's emotional, James Sicily. Yeah, I just reckon it's been...
He just lost a final.
Yeah, well, please. I think it's been one of the great overreactions I've ever seen, including this from two former Hawthorn champions.
Oh, I thought it was embarrassing from my point of view. I really did. How he did it and where he did it, you understand Luke Bruce was coming off. There's going to be a guard of honour. recognising a champion of the game, 300 games. I don't think there was anything to be gained.
As a coach, that's pretty disappointing. I reckon Ken as a coach would sit back and go, we've just had a win, a great win. We should be talking about how well our team played. Instead, a coach is there mouthing off to a losing side. Pretty poor form.
It was not aggressive, it wasn't threatening. He said, you're not flying anywhere, Jack. So let's take a look at their coach, the 4-time premiership winning coach, Alistair Clarkson, and some of the moments that he has had, which, of course, Jordan and Luke would have had no issue with this at the time. I mean, it's Clarko's greatest hits as we roll them here. And I think we look back and we sort of smirk at some of these issues. That's directed to you. Lauder, of course, that was an emotional game. We understand the emotion in the game. We understand the emotion for Ken. This is this year with Webster, where he entered the field and had a crack at him after another moment with that, where he wasn't happy with the treatment, clearly, of one of his players. So this is their coach, the 4-time coach that was abusing umpires at an under-9s game.
Sorry, but why have you brought him into it?
Because he's their 4-time premiership coach, Luke Hodge and Jordan Lewis.
I think that's grossly unfair.
How is that?
It doesn't make
unfair?
Ken's right, Kane, just because he's done wrong things.
Yeah, well, it does, because, and it doesn't make his right, but the criticism towards Ken Hinkley over saying you're not flying anywhere, Jack, from 20 metres away was not threatening. It was a part of an emotional response to a coach who's under serious pressure. And some of the greatest moments in our game are coaches who have had moments similar to that, which we now look back and celebrate. We love this. Like, how good's this? You reckon that's humble?
Not towards a player.
Do you think that's humble though in victory? Do you think
it's theatre?
100%, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yes.
It's theatre.
And I agree with you on that.
So that is that. Like, so this is the moments that we love from coaches who it means so much to them. For Ken to say after Jack Ginnivan had thought he was going to a prelim final, you're not flying anywhere. These are great coaches. These are what great coaches do. Is it ideal? Probably not, but is it worth the overreaction that we've had there? Brad Scott trying to line up David King. Like, come on. We got Chris Scott, the best coach in football right now, having discussions with the player at half or quarter time after he's not happy with some treatment. So Hawthorn have given it out all year, and we've loved it, and we've been along for the ride, and we've celebrated it, and we've said how great it is. But the minute it comes back to them in a very slight way to say you're not flying anywhere, Jack, they have soaked it up like you wouldn't believe.
I see it so differently to Kane, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'll start Jack Ginnivan. I knew it would come back to bite Jack Ginnivan. Like, you just don't want a player within your team just giving an inch to the opposition. I knew it would come back to bite Jack Ginnivan. He's got to be careful, because I don't think they'll have a real tight leash on Jack Ginnivan now. I think Hawthorn, because they might have supported him publicly, but internally I don't think they'd be happy with him at all. So I think he let himself down massively. He's got to think of others, not just about himself and what he does on his phone. So that's a start for me. And Ken, you're the leader of the football club. That is embarrassing from my end.
But what about for Sheeds, who you love? Like, do you think that's embarrassing, or do you think that's good?
No, that was very different. That's not towards an opposition player.
But it's not about the Mitchell White one.
Yes, embarrassing by Sheeds, Mitchell White, and he gets fined heavily for it. You don't do that. So I just think, with Ken, you go to your media conference and say, you know what, I had that up against the wall, on the wall for my players. It helped us, and that gained us an edge throughout the week, rather than doing it in a petulant way out in the field.
I know everyone's got their own views. Mine is Jack Ginnivan, if you dish it out, you've got to be prepared to cop it, all right? And I think he does cop it.
I think he has copped it, yeah.
No, he's copped it.
Yeah.
So
that's fine. But Ken Hinkley obviously should know better to be sucked into it like that, all right? But obviously in the emotions, in the moments after the match, for Sam Mitchell to bring the age into it, what does it matter? What does it matter whether he's 58 and Jack Ginnivan's only a kid? It shouldn't matter. We're forever being told, well, it's a man's game, OK? So I don't understand the whole age insinuation there. And for the AFL to investigate it, OK, I get that you've got to go through the motions, but please don't issue a fine to Ken Hinkley just for adding some drama.
Well, you almost certainly will get one, TJ, just to sign off on it. I'm not trying to validate it. I'm just telling you that they almost certainly will get a fine today.
Why?
Well, they need to act on the back of what happened last week with Jason McCartney and Tom Pelton.
They're so far apart.
I know they're far apart, but they can't be seen to be walking past it. I'm with you. I don't think they should, but they can't not do anything but fine him today on the back of it. So I'm with you too, TJ. The use of the phrase young player and older man, I mean, it's got nothing to do with it. Jack Ginnivan wasn't considered a younger player during the course of the year when they did celebrate his antics. So, yeah, and for Luke Hodge to be talking about a 60-year-old man, Ken Hinkley's not 60, he's 57, nearly 58, and to use that as a problem in this whole debate, grow up. up.
I found it odd.
And stop looking up about it.
I found it odd. But I will say, I think it's grossly unfair on your part, Kane, to bring Alistair Clarkson into it. I'm not an apologist. Well, I don't understand what he's got.
He's such a revered coach of those two.
But he's got nothing to do with it.
He's the revered coach of those two people who I'm critical of, who have overreacted to that. It was okay when they were winning premierships and Clarko was carrying on like that. You didn't hear Jordan Lewis and Luke Hodge criticising their coach.
But you don't know whether they could.
It's the reason they both got it wrong, in my opinion. When you're a leader of men and you're the leader of your club, you're not smashing walls and you're not carrying on out on the field.
But some of the greatest have done it. So we can't hang Ken Hinkley like Chris Scott.
So what did you think when Choco Williams had his tie and doing that one?
Well, he's won a premiership. I love
Well, hang on. Oh, so that's all right, is it?
I'm saying Ken's all right.
No, yeah, I know, but you're saying Choco was okay. But then you showed Mick Malthouse with the jacket.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Right.
I like that. This is theatre. These are the greatest coaches.
So should the
in football.
AFL fine Ken?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I'm with you, T. We're arguing the same thing.
Nice one, Kane. I'm with you. I'm with Ken as well. So let's have a look.
You just sit on the fence, Nathan.
Well, I was just letting you talk about it.
What's your view?
I've got no problems with what Jack Ginnivan did, got no problems with what Ken did or James Sicily. It's a big game. It is an emotional game. You've got to remember, Ken's finished second. Everybody's tried to take something away from Ken this year, saying, you're not going to be the coach, we're going to move you on. We've already got a coach in waiting. Everybody's wanting to bag Ken. He let the emotions get the better of him, absolutely. But in terms of how bad it wasn't that bad. I thought it was great theatre. We're in the entertainment industry. Nice? All right. Let's put a...
You can add that to your mixtape that you
Let's put a full stop on that. And Lordo spoke about the Giants not going fast enough. So let's have a look at Port in the last 2 minutes. They needed a better plan than this. So they needed to come out here and chip. They kept giving the ball back to Hawthorn time and time again in these last 2 minutes. They didn't handle it well. So the first one they kick out comes back into Sicily. The next one, this just needs to be a chip in here somewhere. They're all lined up over here, but have a look at the time, a minute 03. They just need to find a small target. Yes, they won the game, but they look at this and go, how can we do this better? How can we do it better? Again, they go inside forward 50. They take the mark. He immediately turns his back. Look at these players he could chip the ball to. 26 seconds. That takes 20 seconds off the clock. But he goes back and they bomb it out again for a third time in a row. And for a fourth time, then they had to defend again. So the kick from Asava should have been a chip and it should have been game over. And they have to defend another small ball going in. That could have quite easily been marked, but they just needed to handle that last 2 minutes a little bit better. Yes, they won, but there's always improvement.
And Brownie, we knew on the day of the game, Friday, from people in Adelaide telling us that Charlie Dixon was going to be a late withdrawal. He was, and that left Todd Marshall alongside Mitch Georgiades. And Marshall then, unfortunately, suffered another concussion. It's his second concussion in the past 5 weeks. And whether it happened in that first moment there or that knee from Georgiades, the teammate, and there's another tackle you're about to see from Hardwick later in the game, whatever it was, it may have been a combination of all of those moments. This is that third one I'm referring to in the third quarter, but he was subbed out. He's now had 5 concussions in the past 3 seasons, and it's a genuine concern and worry now as to his state in the game with the head knocks he's been receiving.
Kane, this time last week you were very critical of Zach Butters, right? But in your defence, not once did I hear you utter the word soft, but it seems to have taken on this narrative of its own.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when Paul Marsh goes and squeals to the Herald Sun and says things that I haven't said. I said he needed to grit his teeth and toughen up this week after being subbed out at half-time when they were 20 points down last week with what wasn't really a significant issue for them. So that's that part. The good part is that Zach Butters did grit his teeth and he did toughen up, and it was extraordinary, the performance. Now, this is what you expect from your vice-captain of the footy club. There wasn't a serious issue for him. You can see that he was cleared to play on the Saturday. They confirmed that on the Tuesday, and this is the response. So everything that I asked for him to do last Sunday at this desk, he has done that. Incredible player. The toughest player in football is voted by his players for a reason, and that's exactly what he needed to do. So for Paul to say that he was green, he was struggling to breathe, at half-time needed to be subbed out, well, that performance there was what I was expecting.
And just on the Hawks, I think their forward line's an issue, so bringing Barras and Battle in is great. So I wonder if Sicily could be the forward that they're looking for next year, because once they moved Sicily forward, it was great, but their back line was a mess without him, so I think it's something they could consider next season.
They're under a lot of pressure next season, aren't they, to sort of like back up what we've seen they're capable of doing.
And once you've been seen and everyone knows what you do, well, then it's harder to perform.
Alrighty, it's been a pretty heavy sort of half hour so far, so let's lighten things up a little bit, I think, with this edition of What Caught My Eye. And to kick us off, it is the king of comedy, Kane Corns.
Yeah, well, you know, there's great point guards in the NBA, TJ, and their job is just to set up their teammate and just to make them look good. So So I'm just John Stockton this morning. I'm Magic Johnson. I'm just one of those point guards in the NBA that's just going to set up my teammate to make him look really good. Because honestly, I thought this was this is no criticism. I just thought this was incredible radio from Matthew Lloyd last week.
Just pick up that name for Lloydie that he dropped. Josh Battle. Just pick that back. I'm good friends with Josh Battle.
I'm not sure he can talk, Lloydie.
I reckon you've dropped Bucks that many times. Me and Bucks did gym together.
Not on radio.
And half an hour ago.
Not on radio. Just a good reminder never to get in the ring with Matthew.
While he is wearing Tony Greig's jacket at the moment.
I've been working with Lloydie for the best part of a decade. I have never seen him enjoy his own work. The last 3 minutes.
You're on fire. You're on fire. Too good. Too good.
Well, Lord, I'm going to give you a bit of a clip too, so Throw W will get another run here. But I don't want to give you a clip without giving myself a clip. I think when you stumble over a word, so I'd have to go about all the way back to Future Stars to find the last time I stumbled with Kyrie Irving. So let's have a look at this.
This man, Kyrie Irving, went #1 in the NBA draft at the Cleveland Cavaliers a few years back.
So sometimes that happens. You have a bit of a stumble, and it was Boomer's fault, the Future Stars. But let's go back to the 3RW box because you couldn't figure out a certain meaning of a word.
What's the text messages, Phil? You're saying players are texting each other with their frustrations?
Subliminal text messages from these players that don't want to outright criticise the football department, but if you read between the lines, you can see very clearly they're frustrated because they know they've got a good bunch of blokes there.
Well, no, but you can't see subliminal messages.
Okay, I didn't know that word, so sorry, Sam.
You're not a full skin.
Subliminally means it's not actually spoken.
That's good. You learn something new every day. I've learned something new today. No idea. No idea at all.
You obviously went to that expensive school on a scholarship.
Yeah, no, I certainly didn't do that. TJ, this show's been great for us. I think it's improved ourselves and our brands, and it's been wonderful for us. So let's start out how it's been good for me. Like Mercedes-Benz Berwick, I'll admit it's been great for my brand. There I was promoting Mercedes-Benz Berwick. Then Brownie, here he is. Temper mattress has been absolutely wonderful. Jace Nicholas out there and Brownie Temper. Look at Volcano, he doesn't pay for anything he does here. The Pullman's been good to him. And Solly's Gym, Sol, it's been wonderful.
Magnificent.
TJ, Tony's Chocolates, that's been good for you and your brand. You've done a deal there. And I'm just wrapped that our man on the end there, Damo, that things have happened for Damo as well. Like
What's happened?
He's done a deal with Tesla and solar.
No.
Yeah, he has. Let's take a look at Damo. He's done a deal. Tesla's our man, solar panel, Right on, Damo. I'm wrapped for you. I am wrapped for you.
Not a good looking like you, Damo.
I've made it.
Oh, you made it, Damo. Good work.
You know, the thing about this panel is you're not just great sportsmen and great journalists, but you're just all-round sporting people, really. So let's take a look at some of your exploits away from the football field. There we've seen Matthew Lloyd doing his best in the equestrian area. So that was Matthew. Yeah, that didn't go down all that well. So, OK, not just a sharpshooter in front of goal, but also very, very good on a horse there. So the next one is Kane doing some sumo wrestling.
That's with Tex.
So there's Kane doing some sumo wrestling.
I don't remember Taylor Walker.
You would have thought you just could. And there's Damo. That's the extent of his sporting capabilities in that he takes his dog for a walk. But you, I mean, you not only like a reasonable footballer, but, you know, like a reasonable boxer. But we saw through the week your golfing prowess. Mate, you should turn pro. This is Nathan Brown over at Marble. Have a look at this for a swing. Right, hang on. So he's just having a little bit of a look there, sort of like, hey, what's that? Is it chip and putt or something?
I'm not a golfer, Tony.
Oh, really? Really?
No apologies for that.
Yeah. Oh, that is but aren't you there to promote that thing over at Marble?
I was, yeah.
How do you
Stadium golf. It's brilliant. You should get down there.
No, because I can't play golf either, so I wouldn't pretend.
I don't want to make too light. I don't want to make too light of what happened in Melbourne during the week. There was a serious protest issue where the city got shut down again. Look at this riots and there's fires and there's pepper sprays and horses being attacked and people being dragged. And it was all over an arms exhibition that people knew about. And most people, apart from the people choosing to be part of the protest, chose to stay away from the fracas. Some people, though, one of us on this panel decided to walk straight into the middle of it. Now, this is while there were barricades put up, and our man decided to walk into ground zero of it, TJ. Now, unfortunately, our cameras have picked him up there. He's walking into this moment. What I do know happened, we just haven't got vision of this, there were 10 police forces you came up behind, and the first policeman who saw you did not know who you were, and you were about to be Tyreek killed to the ground before you were saved by another police officer.
Was he going to be arrested?
Yes.
Well, I had
you were
to
about
park
to be arrested.
in Lorimer Street to go into the city because Montague Street was blocked off. And I found myself behind 10 massive horses. And then I look around and there's about 10 armed guards there, all with guns. And the police officer used a few expletives and grabbed me and started to usher me out of the area. Yeah, a little bit scared, but I was just walking, going about my own business.
Did you then
walked into it, Brownie?
And then pulled out his mixer tape.
You know I
Alrighty, that wraps up this edition of What Caught My Eye. Coming up next, we're heading to Sydney Airport to catch up with the Star Lions. Stay with us, Will Ashcroft right after this. Welcome back. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Brisbane Lions fans preparing themselves for a preliminary final on Saturday afternoon at the MCG. This is how they got it done eventually, because it looked like they were packing their bags for the summer, but no, they'll be packing their bags for Melbourne instead. GWS looked to have that match, as we said in the first segment there, just in the bag itself, but it was not to be. A 5-point win to the Brisbane Lions. And joining us live now from the airport is Will Ashcroft. G'day, Will. Thanks for your time.
G'day guys, how's it going?
Yeah, good. So just tell us where you are exactly.
Yeah, we've just jumped off the bus and into the Virgin Lounge and getting ready to fly back to Brizzy, so a few of the boys are around me listening in.
All right, well, just turn your phone around a little bit. Give us an insight into what you're seeing at the moment. Just turn your phone around. Who we got there?
There you go, boys.
Oh, it's all happening in the Virgin Lounge, isn't it? Yeah. All right, the boys are here at your mercy.
Hey, Will, we're going to have a look. We're going to have a look at the last quarter where you kicked the last 6 goals of the game. Talk us through the chat at three-quarter times. You kicked 5 in the third quarter. They got the last 2, and you felt like the shift was there.
Yeah, we definitely felt a shift in the third quarter, even though it didn't quite show on the scoreboard. Had the belief that knew that if we played our way and really under the contest and won the ground ball battle, that be in a good spot to come back, and we don't have to leave everything out there, and a few things had to go away, which they did, and yeah, it was an unbelievable win in the end.
Hey, Will, congratulations. Can you explain to us and the fans at home how momentum shifts happen? Like, you're involved in a lot at the Lions, and so are the GWS Giants. So where does it start, you think, to get the game back on your terms?
Yeah, well, I just mentioned it then. Like, we believe, if we invested our time in the hunt and the contest, that was where the game was going to be won and lost. Once we started getting on top in that area, and we felt that confidence build and that momentum shift, and everything just flows off the back of that. So yeah, if we keep carrying that through, we continue to have that momentum, and hope it didn't shift back in their way, and luckily we could just ride it all the way home.
Just the momentum shifts that you speak of, and Lordo mentioned, I thought you were really influential in that. You went inside in particular and had an influence to the back end of the third term, but your numbers last night, your last quarter, 10 in the last quarter, and here's some of your vision, 10 score involvement. So 11 games back now, and I feel like every one of those 11 games you've just built and improved to the point that you're in really good form now.
Yeah, well, that was a plan all the way through, trying to build my form and just didn't get back out playing footy. So I've always wanted to play in big finals. We shattered to miss it out last year, and I've just set myself for a big finals campaign. And grateful to be thrown into the midfield. That's always wanted to be in the big moments, so grateful to be in there and performing on the big stage.
Lachie Neale said after the game that you said, just get me on the move, hit it to me. You were feeling it?
Yeah, I got belief in myself, and whatever the team needs me to do, I'll do. So we've got a very selfless group, and I just felt like we were getting some purchase on those outside hits and just using my speed and getting on the move. I thought I could do some damage, and that's how it's a credit to Lachie and those guys. They're absolute champions of the game, and just putting the faith in me to do what I can do, and help me out where I can. It's unbelievable.
You mentioned big moments, Will, and Joe Danaher is putting together an unbelievable finals record. So for everything that's spoken about Joe, he just stood up again. He was massive on grand final day and was massive again last night. How does he just takes it in his stride though, doesn't he, Joey?
Yeah, he doesn't let the public eye or the opinions about him waver. He's so confident in his ability, and we all back him in, and we absolutely love him at the footy club. And when he gets going, he's hard to stop. So, yeah, it was, absolutely awesome to, watch what he was doing last night. Absolutely unbelievable, to be honest. Can't really put into words. So happy for him individually, and, he's a team man.
All right, we're just losing a little bit of contact there. I think we might have re-established that. So, Nathan?
Dane Zorko, Will, he's one of my favourite players, but I thought he had a mare for 3 quarters last night, but he didn't let it get the better of him. Last quarter, or late in the third quarter, kicked a goal, kicked a big quarter in the last, and I thought that he played with some genuine energy after half-time.
Yeah, well, that was something we needed to bring in the second half, I think. We were probably a little bit down on energy and making some silly mistakes and sort of shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit. And he's one to ignite us at times, and he definitely brought that. The game's obviously a 4-quarter game, so it doesn't matter how you go on in the first 2 or 3 quarters, you can turn it around any time, any player. So so great to be playing alongside him, and he's an unbelievable teammate.
Well, we've seen some coaches this weekend, this month, lose the emotional side of the game. Your coach has a rule, Chris Fagan, is usually unflappable. How was he last night, and how have you seen and dealt with him this year as he's waded through a few things going on with the Hawthorn racism situation?
Yeah, well, it's been up and down the season for us, and we've had our backs against the wall at a lot of different times, and he's just been so calm, cool, and collected. Us through some times, and I think last night was unbelievable for the footy club. Helped me, like me personally, I was difficult periods with trying to come back from my knee, and I'm just so grateful that he had the faith in me to bring me back straight through the AFL side for my first game back. That's just shows how much he believes in his players, and he's back all the way through. And now we're glad we could repay him last night with that victory.
All right, good stuff, Will. I know your arm's getting tired, and I think the connection's a little on the dodgy side as well as the interview goes on. But, mate, we've got some fantastic prizes for you. So if you were taking all these home, you'd have excess luggage. What do we got?
Absolutely, we do, TJ. Off to Gumbaya World, where water slides through rides and wildlife collide. Watch the Quackers, unlimited access with a family pass thanks to the team at Gumbaya World. The J-Labs, 1 pair of those mini J-Buds thanks to J-Lab. True wireless and pack over 5 hours of playtime. Clutch & Co. If you're a golfer, you'll be best dressed on the golf course with a quarter zip top and pants from Clutch & Co. And Be Close is Brad Close's brand, so have a chat to him about this weekend. Be Close, you swing your style. A box of Chrome Tour golf balls and cap thanks to our great mates at Callaway. Another 2 hats for your playing group thanks to Travis Matthews right there. The True Linkswear golf shoes are so good that you want to wear them everywhere. Check them out at truelinkswear.com.au. The bar fridge, custom design, your own bar fridge. You can see that there. The pair of Aquilas, premium quality footwear since 1958, if you don't mind. The Cookie Box, Melbourne's finest artisan cookie shop. Treat yourself to a special delivery. Thanks to Cookie Box, a meal with our and Lordo's friends at Platform 28. Lordo, the best pub in Docklands. Tell them that man Lordo sent you. There's the Rick's Eyewear.
Bit of energy, Kane.
Rickseyewear.com.
Come on, Kane, lift it.
And elevate your wardrobe with the latest street style from St. Delight.
Come on, mate, put a bit of, you're not at Channel 7 yet. Put a bit of life into it, mate.
I couldn't have given it any more.
Oh, I think you could have. Anyway, hey, Will, thanks very much, mate, and enjoy those prizes and enjoy the week ahead. I guess you come down on Friday, do you?
I think so, yeah. I haven't seen the schedule yet, but I'd imagine so, yeah.
All right, we'll make the most of the sunshine up north because it's showers and 18 degrees for you on Saturday.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you. Will Ashcroft joining us there from the Virgin Lounge at Sydney Airport, and they will be on a plane again in the not-so-distant future coming down for a prelim. All righty, we'll take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. The quiz is up next. You got a theme?
Finals. Big finals performances. There was a question about Lordo in there that I had to take out. I just couldn't do it.
Put it back in, please. All right, we'll take a break. We'll see you right after this.
also a very good morning to you, Tony Barber. I know you watch every week for the quiz and you inspired this. $500 on the line. Home viewers, who are you playing for?
Sam Miller, Allansford, Victoria.
Michael Mears in Moana, South Australia.
For me, Dane Waters from Modbury in South Australia.
Carmel Battistella from, some say Reservoir, some say Reservoir. I'll go Reservoir.
So $500 on the line thanks to Sportsbet, and it is all about finals today, so great finals performances. So question number 1. Who kicked 5 goals on grand final day in 1992 to take the Premiership Cup?
What try?
Matera.
Out of Victoria, the answer is Peter Matera. Well done.
Nate, sorry to interrupt your quiz, but you left the sauce bottle.
I never left it.
No, don't put the sauce away, mate.
No, I didn't have that. Is that yours, is it?
Well, stop eating pies, mate, OK? He's already down to about 8.
Hang on a minute. Whose is it?
Come on, pie boy, get it off.
You put it there. Did you put it there?
No, I didn't.
Question number 2. Who is the most recent player to kick double-digit goals in a final?
Lloyd! Is it Gary Lyon?
Gary Lyon is right. Jeez, it was tough on the buzzer there, Lordo. Well done. Famous faces question. Jim Steins ran across the mark in 87.
Thanks, Choppers. Chop.
Gary Buckenara.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Who was his coach that day?
Lloyd! Sorry, of Gary Buckenara.
What try?
Jim Steins. It was...
He's already answered.
Yes, it was.
How come Lordo gets unlimited time to answer?
Who did I say that?
He didn't answer it.
No.
He didn't answer it. OK. We've got Gaz down there. We've got a lot of great grand final performances.
Yeah, Smoking Joe.
Yeah,
Joey.
Good call.
Down the bottom. Smoking Joe, you can mute somebody.
Oh, for arguing?
Yeah, good.
This is the point.
This is the Sportsbet Sunday stat question. And continuing on with the Melbourne theme, which Demon played his first final in his 270th game?
Nathan Jones.
Incorrect.
Thanks,
Robbie
Choppers.
Flower. Robbie Flower is correct. Well done, Tony. Famous faces question.
I'm back in.
Yep. You just for one. Which ruckman booted 5 goals to send his team?
Max Gawn.
Max Gawn is right. Kano.
Let's go.
Go Gary.
Have you been to Gary's for dinner yet?
I haven't been to Gary's for dinner
Didn't you get
yet.
invited?
Yeah, but I never attended. Darren Jarman.
He's at the... Oh, that's a nice
Volcano. Volcano.
OK, name the 2 players that share the record for the most disposals in a grand final.
I know one
What
of them.
try?
Simon Black.
Yes.
No.
Any clues?
Well, he played for Melbourne.
Oh, Petrarca.
You're already out. So -1 today, mate. Let's move right along. Which player kicked 5 goals on debut?
What was the disposal number?
39.
Dermot Brereton.
Dermot Brereton is right, Lord.
Hang on.
Pick of the board.
We've got 3 conversations going on. I can't hear the question.
Peter Matera.
Oh, the Lordo heard the question quite comfortably. Pete down the bottom, +2. It's a generous point today.
Wow,
OK. Which other superstar did Dustin Martin shrug off for his 4th goal?
What try?
Paddy Dangerfield.
Paddy Dangerfield is right. OK. Who laid the tackle to allow Tom Boyd?
Thanks, Choppers. Chop.
I don't know.
What try?
Dale Morris.
Dale Morris is right. You get a pick of the board.
Oh, what's left? Let's go with...
You mate, Gaz.
-3.
Now go with the Gaz above Gaz. Gary Ablett, please.
-3.
+1.
Damo, you're back.
The board's very generous today.
OK.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
Another question with a similar answer. Who was sent forward and kicked 8 goals in a losing grand final? Who kicked 8 goals in a losing grand final? Answer was Dermot Brereton.
Oh, yeah.
OK, so let's have a look at the Who Am I.
Yeah, well, that's
3 for Damo, Kane for 4, Lordo for 5.
What do you mean he was sent forward?
Yeah, that's what threw us, Brownie.
OK, so everybody's been very good. TJ, -1. You can't win.
You have to shop early here.
OK, I was a famous father-son selection for 5 points.
Tom Hawkins.
Incorrect. I had
What try?
Gary Ablett.
Incorrect. You're out.
Oh, Lord.
I had 34 and kicked 3 goals in a losing grand final for 4 points.
Thanks, Choppers. Chop.
Lordo, you've got all the questions, you've got the answers, you've already won, but I was awarded the first ever recipient of the Gary Ayres Award. My father and grandfather were Hawthorn legends. I am...
Kennedy?
Josh Kennedy is correct. Well done, Lordo. And if you're playing at home, Dustin He had the run on. Nick Davis +1. Isaac Heaney and Gary, who I was trying to push you into, had the -3. Laura, who'd you play
it was
for?
for Dane Waters from Modbury in South Australia.
Dane, $500 coming your way thanks to Sportsbet. If you want to enter, only a couple of weeks left, wwos.9/brownies quiz.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. When we come back, more finals action to review and preview, and later in the program, it's our version of Gogglebox.
The Sunday Footy Show is powered by Patty's Pies. Sink your teeth into it and celebrate something special. Back to you, Tony.
Thank you, Peter Hitchener there. And can you please, you fessed up during the ad break. You put the sauce bottle there, didn't you?
I did, Tony.
Okay, thank you. So why lie? Why do we have to go through the whole process?
It was just funny that we're sitting in front of you. Come on. Move on.
All right, we do move on, as Port Adelaide will be doing, moving straight through to a preliminary final at the expense of Hawthorn. Nath, tell us how they did it.
Well, they were outstanding. It was all about their pressure. Mitch Georgiades kicked 3. Willie Rioli, I thought he was fantastic. Watson kicked 3 to go with his 4. Newcombe, 31. A lot of those were handballs. Scrimshaw was very good again. Jace Berg, I thought, just about the best man on the ground. Wines and Evans were good. But that man, Mitch Georgiades, who did kick 3 in a pressure-packed game, joins us on the Sunday Footy Show. Mitch, thanks for joining us. Have you ever played in a game with as much pressure as Friday night?
No, that was an amazing game. It was definitely one of the best games I've been a part of. Throughout the whole game, it was momentum shifts. It was a pressure game, as you said, and it was definitely one to remember.
So the week that you had, a lot of spoken about the disaster that was the qualifying final. I think you were going to train on the Monday, but that may have been brought forward, so the group came in a little bit earlier. From that moment, was it about leaving it behind and focusing on the next game? Or how was the week? It was a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. We came in a day earlier to discuss, obviously, a really disappointing qualifying final, and we made a real emphasis to analyse it within that 24 hours and then to move on as quick as possible. We knew it wasn't up to standard clearly, and the ability for us to move on and show a bit of maturity through the week to focus on Friday night was it was something that we're really proud of, and to get a win was huge.
So we'll touch on how you did it in a moment, but now I'm interested in what you do after the win and moving on, because it was such an emotional night for the footy club and you performed so well, but you have to do it again against a side that's just sitting there waiting for you. So at what point do you now focus on Sydney?
Yeah, I think it'll be almost identical week to last week. I mean, we'll review it within the 24 hours. We'll go back to the club tomorrow and go through that. And then from there, we'll focus completely on Sydney. Another challenge ahead, which is really exciting. They're such a great team, and nothing really changes throughout the week.
Mitch, the last quarter moments, we'll take a look at them. It was so dramatic, but you guys, from the start, your pressure was as good as any side we've seen all year. But your pressure's been good for the previous 8 rounds in terms of home and away football. You just got it wrong against Geelong. But talk us through the last quarter, and congratulations to you as well for standing up in such big moments. But it was a game of momentum swings.
Yeah, that's right. We knew going into the game it was going to be a game purely on pressure and contest, and that's what finals are built around. And you see moments like this throughout the game, and I think everyone had a moment like that, and that's what put us in great stead to get the victory. And it was definitely one of the most high-pressure games I've ever been a part of.
Mitch, can I ask you about how did the playing group react? Like, there was obviously a lot of focus on Zach Butters this time last week from one of your premiership stars in Kane Corns. What's the players' reaction to that sort of criticism when someone is singled out like Zach Butters?
Well, I think we all know Zach really well as a club, and as a person, he's probably my best mate, and we know how tough he is and what he brings to the group and energy. And I mean, if you tell Zach no, he's going to completely do the opposite. So Zach, he's a talent, he's a tough player, and we know what he's going to get each week from him.
Mitch, what was your take on the Ken Hinkley, James Sicily funeral post-match?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Obviously, we know how passionate Kenny is, and sometimes he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And probably, like he said to himself, he got the better of him at that stage. And but as a club, we probably throughout the week took it as a bit of disrespect, the comments that were made, and not just from Jack, but probably from the whole media itself, and potentially ruling us out. So I thought it was a really great maturity for us as a group all of last week to put that behind and move forward. But yeah, we're 100% behind Ken. We love his emotion. It's what makes him such a good coach at times as well. But probably, as he said, he'd probably like to take it back.
Hey, Mitch, can you tell us, though, how much Ken used it in the pre-game and during the week?
Oh, he didn't use it overly amounts, but he just said it's not something that we don't want to be treading on as a team, and it's time to show maturity and to step up. If people want to say stuff about that, we've really got to take it on and say, are we okay with that? So I think, yeah, like I said, it was great maturity for us as a team to react to that and to put in a performance the way we did and do it in the hard way.
Mitch, I thought it was Jordan Sweet's best game since he's been at the football club. Took on Lloyd Meek. His work around the stoppages, the pressure he put on, and the chase of Mabior Chol was fantastic.
Yeah, he's been a great story this year. I think probably from the start of the year where he was probably a bit disappointed he wasn't playing week in, week out, and then getting the opportunity. He's coming in and he's taking it with both hands. He's been amazing, really, to see what he's done throughout the year. He keeps growing as a player, and the boys around the midfield love playing with him. And we love playing with him everywhere else. So he's been a nice story, that's for sure.
Well done. You're a great story too, mate. Well done on your performance on Friday night and the teams. And, mate, well done also. Have you broken into a display home to do this or something, have you? I mean, that is... I know that you live with your mate Frankie Evans, but that is the cleanest house that we've actually seen in all of our interviews.
Yeah, it's Mum was literally just around here then, and she says it's completely changed from 5 years ago when I was probably the messiest one in the house. So I don't know what's happened. I guess I've grown up a little bit, probably.
All right, good stuff, mate. You certainly got your house in order when it comes to finals football at the moment. So good luck for whatever might lie ahead. And we've got a terrific prize pack coming your way. In fact, Kane's going to bring it over on the plane and hand deliver it to you.
Yep, we'll do that.
How nice. Awesome.
OK, good on you, mate. Thanks for joining us, Mitch.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mitch Georgiades is joining us.
Good story, TJ. He's our most dangerous forward. He's had a huge year.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, cult heroes in the AFL is Lordo's Deep Dive.
It's been Wizard Watson mania the last couple of weeks. Wizard hats everywhere in Adelaide on Friday night, and that's what sent us around the deep dive this morning. And in terms of obviously other cult heroes, there's been two other Wizards as well. And let's start with the Wizard Kappa, who was another cult hero, the Wiz. And some of the speckies he used to take, like people look at him and wonder now, I think, what sort of player he was. But he was a very, very good footballer. Warwick Kappa.
Yeah, we kicked 92 goals in 1986 and then kicked 103 this year.
This is one.
And this huge mark over Langford out there in a final at Waverley. And there's the other Wizard.
Yeah, 249 games, 483 goals. He kicked 9.5 of footy, which we're going to get to. There's Neil Baum. Couldn't believe that handball over the top to Gary Lyon. But, yeah, this was 8 goals he kicked, 9.5 of footy against the Pies in the year 2000. He was a wonderful player. I remember going into the 2000 grand final. Our focus was Wizard Farmer with Mark Johnson, that we could stop the Wizard in that game of footy. So 2 special players, and now we've got another special Wizard coming through the ranks.
Yep, great to see. Another cult hero with Fraser Gehrig, the second last player ever in the history of the game, forevermore, to kick 100 goals in a season, but lit it up as a St Kilda player after starting at West Coast Eagles and bulked up and became the big full forward and was as loved by his supporter group as any player at any club in the history of the game. And look at the size of the man and the aura that he had and the the tolerance for fool's brownie and just he did it his own way.
Quick. Lightning
yes,
quick.
yeah, he was explosive, wasn't he? Yeah. And kicked 549 goals.
There's the 100th.
260 games. You were playing in that game, Kane. Yeah. It was a prelim final at Footy Park, and it was the second last time to do it.
Stevie Baker's old man was the first one out.
I ran out on the ground for Tony Modrich's 100th goal in 1993, actually, which was just a real thrill. Look at this. This man, the best-looking man in football, the biggest name in South Australian football ever seen. Look at it. Modramania, Godra. He was just an absolute genius, Tony Modra, because he'd do it on the ground. He's probably your height, Brownie. Like, he's not tall at all. You'd think the way that he plays, he was tall. That was my favourite of the markers at Victoria Park. That one mark of the year in 1993, but the one against Collingwood was the best. Look at it. It was just a human highlight reel.
Every week.
The biggest name in South Australian football still to this day. Look at the crowd there. That's the first showdown where he turned one on. I just love this guy. There's just another one on
Mickey Martin.
Mickey copped a few of them, but Tony Modra, the biggest. He's almost too good to be a cult hero.
Yeah, a lot of full forwards in this package here, and Brendan Favola is loved by Carlton people, so it was disappointing the way it ended for Favola at Carlton, because he would have been one of their all-time greats. You would have thought if he stayed there, he would have kicked maybe 900 goals for the Carlton Footy Club. But the dreadlocks there, he used to be an entertainer on the field, he was an entertainer on the footy show off the field, and now he's doing great things in morning radio and everywhere else. But they absolutely adored and loved him, and he was one of the beautiful kicks. It's just a beautiful kick. Remember that goal against the Adelaide Crows on the boundary line when he had some tough times to it, Carlton, under Dennis Pagan, who probably helped him and saved his career. I think he kicked 8 in this game against Collingwood as well. So yeah, he was certainly a cult hero.
And at the Brownlow in a couple of weeks, everyone will be thinking of Brendan Favola when we're struggling to get a drink.
He was an absolute superstar. So too was Jake King, the push-up. He came down to Richmond, didn't have any tattoos. He was about 70 kilos. He started to put the tattoos on. He became a gangster. But I'll tell you what, he was exciting to watch. He was exciting to play with. He left nothing in the tank, and he had really little legs, like really tiny legs and a long body. But he could jump. I reckon this one here, that should have been Mark of the Year, one of the best. He dropped that, but he was entertaining. He was tough as well. Old push-up king did 108 push-ups. Here he is, sculling a beer.
My man.
Your man.
Yeah, great stuff. I've got to say, as good as they all are, as great as they all are, the greatest showman, the greatest cult hero was this man, Mark Jacko Jackson. Now, you know, for all his antics, and, you know, you might sort of say, oh, you know, if he sort of spent less time trying to be an on-field clown and more of a footballer, but can I tell you, he was a great footballer. He really was. He was leading goal kicker at Melbourne in 1981, St Kilda in 83, Geelong in 84, this one with Kelvin Moore. Absolutely. You know, I remember going to VFL Park and you would go just to watch Mark Jacko Jackson. And not only was he a great footballer, but he had the hit song, I'm an Individual.
Number one.
Yeah. And, the Ever Ready, of course,
He was an actor?
Yeah, he was an actor. He had the Highwayman, was it, or something, over in America? So he ticked every box when it came to showmanship, but he was also a very, very good footballer.
Not sure his last interview was a great one though, TJ.
With Mike Sheen?
Yeah, he wasn't the best.
Well, if anyone hasn't seen that, after this show, YouTube open mic with Mike Sheen and Mark Jacko Jackson. It is... Sorry?
It was a good clip.
I'll tell you what, it's a good show to watch. We'll take a break. This is a pretty good show too, and more to come, including Mediocre. That's coming up next. Welcome back. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show, the AFLW season up and running and producing some fantastic football. Jess Webster is our AFLW correspondent who's at Crown this morning. Where exactly at Crown, Jess?
Thanks, TJ. I'm here at Crown at the lovely events space called Avery with the beautiful Melbourne skyline and Yarra River behind me. And I'm joined by Geelong Cat star Nina Morrison. Nina, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Firstly, what an epic view we have up here.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Crown facilities are pretty cool, so it's nice to be here this morning.
And let's talk about the start to the AFLW season. A tough start for the Cats girls, 2 losses and a draw. Tell us a little bit about where you're at and how you can get back on the winners list.
Yeah, I felt like we had a pretty good start to the season, to be honest. Obviously playing Melbourne and North the first 2 rounds, and felt like we played a brand of footy that we were pretty happy with. So disappointing not to get a win there. But yeah, obviously disappointing yesterday, and we'll look to regroup for the Gold Coast game. But I think we know that, yeah, we're sort of priming for a win, but it's just about focusing on those fundamentals. And when we play the brand of footy that we know we're good at, we'll get the result we need.
And a big few weeks ahead for the Cats girls in the AFLW, but we've also got some midweek footy, so we've got a bit of a fixture crunch in the next few weeks. We've got games played from Tuesday to Sunday. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, it should be something new and different for the comp, obviously, and you know, I'm looking forward to being able to watch footy pretty much every night. So it'll be a great learning curve for the comp to see how it goes, and obviously teams will have to manage their squads to make sure that you can get through that period. But it'll be exciting.
And speaking of big games and midweek footy, you take on the Hawks in a couple of weeks down at the Cattery. Big game for you, but it's also a big night. It is the My Room Grand Final Spectacular show here at Crown on Channel 9. It's going to be a wonderful celebration of footy, but also a chance to raise some much-needed funds in the fight against childhood cancer. You are a My Room ambassador. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do and why you got involved in the cause?
Yeah, My Room's just an awesome charity that helps to support children and their families all the way through their journey. And so So any chance that we get to sort of raise awareness for that charity and then, help to support the much needed funds that go into, making that possible is awesome as well. So I've had a couple of chances to go and visit some of the kids and their families, and that's been, just super eye-opening to see the hardships that they're going through, and hopefully that Thursday night and the grand final spectacular is a great opportunity to raise funds for that event.
Well, we love your work that you do on and off the field. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and good luck for the rest of the AFLW season. And don't forget, Thursday of men's grand final week here at Crown on Channel 9, the My Room Grand Final Spectacular from 7:30 p.m.
Great work, Jess. Yes, we are very much looking forward to that show live from the Palms at Crown. Eddie Maguire will be there, front and centre, and we'll all be there as well. So we've got a lot of things in store for you. Jess Webster is now making her way back to the studio to talk things all AFLW as we talk all things preliminary finals, starting with Sydney and Port.
On Friday night, TJ, and a potential Karcher high-pressure matchup could be Willem Drew taking on Isaac Heaney. Of course, Isaac Heaney was a star in their qualifying final. There's the numbers. Drew was actually pushed out to the wing to cover Jace Burgoyne going back, but I suspect if he's in there, he goes to Heaney. I don't know if there's going to be any hard tags, but it's going to be a very, very good midfield in Sydney's going up against a very, very good midfield in Port Adelaide.
Port smashed them the last time they met. What did they do that night, you think?
It was a similar game plan to the Hawthorn one, where they completely shut down their ball movement. It was built off pressure and contest. They shut down the corridor, and their gun midfielders went to work. Now, different lineups. Sydney have got some quality back, and Port Adelaide have got some quality missing, and they're fresh off a week off. At Sydney, it's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, and then the Saturday preliminary final has Geelong playing Brisbane, and the massive issue will be the absence, expected anyway, of Tom Hawkins, who, as we know, has played in those previous Geelong flags. He just has not got enough runway to get himself fit again from that foot problem, and I'd be staggered if he was able to work himself back in. Tom Stewart will come back in, having been a late withdrawal for the qualifying final, and extraordinarily also, Lordo, unlikely at this stage anyway for Sam de Koning to work his way back in, and he was a hero of 2022.
Yeah. Shannon Burns is going to join us on the handball a little later on. We might quiz him about Tom Hawkins too, and whether there's a realistic chance he can make his way back in. You had the Karcher match up there before, and thank you to Karcher for their support on this pro. That Karcher window cleaner that I used for the car, that is unbelievable. Have you got your high pressure hose yet?
No, not yet.
Well, say some nice things about Karcher.
I'd love one. Thanks, Karcher.
No, you've actually got to massage it a little more than that.
I can't do
that.
Right,
OK, well, I can tell you they're great, but the Karcher window washer is unbelievable. Anyway, so is Mediocre. So it is with much trepidation for the football media as they prepare for the awards night on Tuesday night that Nathan Brown just takes us down.
Hello, I'm Nathan Brown, and welcome to Mediocre. It's been a long season, and some would say long enough for BT to work out what a stinger is. From opening round...
Hopefully it's just a bit of a stinger there. What is a stinger? Right.
To the finals.
Looks like he's got a stinger in that right shoulder.
Looks like that's all it is. A stinger, whatever a stinger is.
It's that time of year where trade talk is heating up. And let's just say it's a good thing Robbo isn't the list manager of the category.
I was going to lie and say, were you surprised that Bailey Scott said today he's going to Geelong?
Dwayne Russell learned the hard way that sometimes an answer doesn't need to be hard to find.
Vandermeer content to take it out. They're holding up a sign on the bench, the Dogs bench, big 21 sign. Not sure what that means, 21. It might just mean Liberatore's off because he has come to the bench.
It was a thrilling game Friday night, so much so that BT lost track of how many teams were playing.
This game has changed, it's turned, it's now a two-horse race.
One of the hardest things to do in this caper is pivoting from a fun story to a sad one, as Gary Lyon found out.
That was Damien Hardwick at the best thing. No, it wasn't. That was Darth Vader because James Earl Jones has sadly passed away.
Sadly, yes.
Multiple sources tell us that David King won't allow any other laptops on the Fox Footy panel, even going so far as bringing the biggest one he can find. And after the Hawks result, someone might want to check in on Stephen Quartermain.
Well, they've given up, let's be honest, the power. There's no chance. We're 99.95 tonight and certain of winning. We are just absolute morals tonight. We cannot be beaten.
I'm Nathan Brown, and that's Mediocre.
Good one. I must admit, I have been hearing some of that bias call on SEM with Stephen Quartermain. And why is he not on a permanent radio or TV roster for his calling? He is a magnificent caller.
Absolutely.
And any radio station would be doing well to get him on board. We're going to take a break. When we come back now, a week or so back, Lordo, Damo, and... No, who was it? Oh, you. So it was Lordo, Nathan and myself. Such a memorable afternoon. We went down to Crown and we recreated what caught my eye, and we did it in a goggle box sense. So we're going to see how all that chopped up right after this break. Well, here we are at Crown at the Sports Bar, and guys, this is a great opportunity just to hang for a little bit.
It is good, TJ, and...
Did that hurt?
No, it didn't hurt, because I've had harder men hit me than you over the years, but no, it's great to sit with you, have some laughs and enjoy the best of our show.
I love hanging out with you, Tone.
Yeah. That's why I'm sitting in the middle of you two.
Yeah.
Every Sunday morning, we grind each other's gears. I'm the referee this morning. And you're always nervous at the start of what caught my eye, aren't you?
Nervous?
Yeah.
Absolutely shitting myself.
He
It's
sweats.
normally about you.
Gets the shakes. A few weeks ago, we got the shakes.
Did he?
Yeah, he was so... You were anxious, weren't you?
I was a little nervous, I was a
Paris.
little Brian Nankervis. All right, let's have a look at the season 2024 through the eyes of the Sunday Footy Show. And kicking us off today is Lordo.
TJ, I'm disappointed for you with the dressing room, to be honest.
Oh, don't worry. It's not an issue.
It's not fair, because you're just legendary and
icon.
An icon. You know, you've lost your dressing room and now you're losing. It's becoming all about Tom, and I fear that this is what you've turned into. Have a look at even his news crosses now. Like, you're just hanging on for dear life, even standing there in the background going, Tommy, hey, my boy Tommy, because they know it's all about Tom now, so you need to make sure you're with him every step of the way to get in shot.
I noticed some of your social media accounts, you've got this really weird thing that you do with your knee. Look at that knee, how it's sort of like, you sort of think you're some supermodel or something, and there it is again, the knee that sort of goes out. And then there's another example. Look at that, look at that. What is all that about? Was that the leg that got broken?
Yes, I think it was.
Well, maybe they didn't straighten it.
I don't know, but it's a weird thing to do, and you look at the photos, you don't realise you do it. But the dressing room stuff, that was
no,
great.
Don't worry about the dressing room.
What about how flat he was? And then he was all stoic when the cameras come on. No, I don't care. Like, he was filthy about it.
I was actually jealous of how they are at the cutting edge of analytics. Let's have a look at Trent Cotchin.
Hey guys, Trent Cotchin here. We're going to run through a little bit about what isn't quite working for the Pies, but also how good Sydney are going with regards to their team defence and their contest wins.
I want us to be at the cutting edge, and I want us to be the best. And sorry, it's a blatant rip-off, but I just had to go there.
Hi guys, Kane Corns here. I just wanted to show you what isn't working for Hawthorn at the moment. His teammate Ben Ward kicks the ball, and his teammate marks it, and they play on, and he kicks it, and there's another mark that he's taken it, and then Hawthorn kick it back, and there's another mark.
Wow. That caused more turmoil than any other what caught my eye in the history. There was phone calls going everywhere. I got in trouble for laughing from a few people at Channel 7 who I'm mates with, but I must admit, it was a pretty good idea.
But anyway, it didn't seem to affect him. He got a big, juicy contract out of it.
And he obviously wasn't in talks with them at that stage.
No, obviously not.
No.
This is AFL folklore. We're seeing Dusty 300. People getting their haircuts like Dusty. Hadn't seen anything like it. 92,000. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a game in 2018 when the same group of fans
That's us.
for a hero's welcome. There's no one there, Brownie. They're not even watching. They got their back turned here. They couldn't even watch.
That is good. That is good. You were on Fox Footy during the week talking about the All-Australian. Now, there's a couple of bits of vision here, but the first one, I'm not sure Eddie Betts likes you either.
Yeah, well, we'll go with St Kilda first. Marshall, Callum Winkie.
Marshall's numbers are going to look really good because he grabs the ball and he gets huge clearances, but I'm not sure they'd go anywhere. Like, he just grabs it and kicks it forward.
So your best three ruckmen are Gawn.
At the look at Eddie. Can we just get Eddie Betz's look of disdain at Kane again?
When we got to the ad break, I think we can tell tales out of school. He was not happy. He was not happy, was he?
No, and it's hard to upset Eddie. I've never seen Eddie Betts upset.
Yeah,
But Kane has. That one, he was disappointed in the AFL. I reckon he was straight on the phone to him.
Have a listen to this grab from Nath on his podcast during the week.
There's only 2 players in the history of game for a season, and I only did it for 10 games, obviously, who have averaged more than 20 disposals and 3.5 goals a game, which is me and Lee Matthews.
That is that you and Lee Matthews have got in common because your careers are eerily similar. Premiership coaches, best development, leading goal kickers, and Hall of Fame.
But he's always wanted to be a host, and he's a very good host when he gets his opportunity. But this was him in the background. We caught him where he's eyeing off James Brayshaw and thinking, how can I take the role? You can just see him. He's getting some camera time, some me time on his way to the star that he is right now.
I need pillows back
there. And we noticed where somebody else was looking to build themselves up way back in the 1995 Brownlows. Here's Sam Newman doing street talk.
Oh, look at him.
Look at our man just working his way. In the background, there's not just one.
He's got an ear again.
He's got his suit from his Year 12 formal on.
You know what he hates is when you imitate him. When you do Damo's voice, like the night on the grand final show last year.
Mate. I think we've got an awareness of what it is, TJ. It might be good.
Well, just yes or no. Don't need to give us. I think we've got an awareness, TJ. So you do tend to draw it out, don't you? I'm just saying, if you spoke normal, this would be an hour and a half show. But because you're on the panel, it goes 3 hours. So what you do is you say, well, TJ, I think
we're here for 3 hours. You've upset him in the first 10 minutes.
Actually, you dirty up, aren't you?
Should we get to the game?
I've never seen Damo dirty up. There's so many things that people have said about Damo. That was the one time.
We got some
He's
tissues.
always dirty up.
No, but his lip was quivering. He was that angry.
We lost him.
We were
after
like
that.
5 minutes into a 3-hour show, and he dirtied up. Didn't he?
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. It's Sunday Agenda time. Heading today's agenda is Dustin Martin. Kane, we have been conditioned, I think, to the possibility, it's now going to happen, that Dustin Martin will be at the Gold Coast Suns in 2025.
Yeah, you wrote about this Friday morning, Damo. I don't think it's a great move for Gold Coast. Yes, if it was Dustin Martin in 2019, where he was highly motivated and going to go there and set great standards, but his motivation has been questioned. I'm not sure that's the right player for them to go and get. And further to that, if he is motivated to play, I would have loved to have seen him do that at Richmond and he's finished his career there where he's been the champion that he was. So I think Richmond fans will be scratching their heads going, sort of what went on this year and why all of a sudden are you motivated to play football again when perhaps you weren't this year?
Yeah, he clearly
a bit like the man he's about to be reunited with.
Bit like Damien Hubbard,
Yeah, he clearly did check out of 2024 action. That's his prerogative, but that's what did happen. Bally Smith, Brownie, attempted this time last year, to get to the Geelong Footy Club. He was in contract for 2024. He's now not in contract for 2025. It will go through with the Cats. Do you like it, given they're about to play a prelim final this week?
Well, I do, because they need some run and carry through the midfield, and that ground down there is great for Wingman because he can run the whole length. I mean, he's got a massive tank. So the question is, how much do they get him for? How much will they have to pay him? He's already got an existing deal, commercial arrangement with their major sponsor Cotton On, so I'm not sure what that's worth. Does the AFL keep an eye on what he's paid by Cotton On now compared to when he goes to Geelong? Because it's an easy one to bump up, isn't it?
And look, footy clubs will want the AFL to have a look at that and what it pertains. Look, they won't be breaking any rules.
No, but if
it
it's
is
got an
a talking
existing
point.
commercial arrangement, it's okay to increase that and get more out of it.
Yeah,
not breaking any rules.
Yeah, look, a lot of third-party deals do get signed off.
Are you comfortable being in the same shot as those other two pictures there?
No, probably not. We might move on to Dan Houston for that reason. Because while he did go public only a matter of 10 days ago that he's going to stay at the Port Adelaide Footy Club, there is no one in football who thinks that is going to be the case. And while there's still a lot to play out here, I feel Carlton Footy Club will be a strong contender for his services. They've identified a need for a Dan Houston type off their half-back line, and while he will take and cost a fair bit to get across, the first draft pick of Carlton will have to be used in some form, but that's the way I expect it to go, Lauder.
Yeah, they've already delisted a number of players already. Matt Owies has to wait, Jack Martin's gone, so they haven't messed around, Carlton, so I think there might be a fair list overhaul at the Blues.
Good work, Damo. Now, before we go to a break, can I remind you about the My Room Mitsubishi raffle? Now, this is your chance to drive away in a Mitsubishi Outlander worth $45,000. Now, see that QR code there? You can use that now if you're quick enough with your phone, or you can head to raffletix.com.au to enter, and those tickets are only $20 each. Now, I say only $20 because it might get you a $45,000 vehicle, but every dollar goes to supporting My Room and their families, as indeed we will be doing between now and the grand final Thursday show, and then, of course, beyond My Room. They do wonderful, wonderful work. We will take a break. When we come back, Jess Webster will rejoin us with the AFLW report and also a couple of premiership stars on Louis handball. That's all to come. Yeah, it's really become compulsive viewing. Any cue will do it, thanks. Compulsive viewing on a Sunday night. There is Footy Furnace live and dangerous from 8 o'clock on 9 Now with that man, my cuz, Jimmy Bartell, also the legend himself, Lee Matthews, and Tom Morris is there just driving the bus. Footy Furnace tonight, 8 o'clock on 9 Now. Right now, though, here on 9 is Jess Webster, who's made the mad dash from Crown Casino to be with us, and I tell you what, that AFLW season, it just gets bigger and better, and Daisy Pearce is providing a real sense of joy for success-starved WA fans.
Yeah, it's incredible what Daisy Pearce is doing in the AFLW at the moment. Her West Coast Eagles got their second win of the season on Thursday night when Week 3 kicked off at the newly redeveloped Whitten Oval, which looks absolutely fantastic. It was a much improved effort from the Western Bulldogs, but this goal from Ella Roberts, she is a genuine star of the competition. She kicked that from 50 metres out, and Bulldogs gave a late charge, but West Coast held on. This is an amazing story. This goal here from Octavia Di Donato on her debut was signed as an injury replacement player out of Carlton VFLW. First game, kicked the winning goal, and absolutely wonderful scenes. And on Friday night, the Lions did an absolute demolition job against Collingwood. It was the Pies' equal worst loss in AFLW history, 52 points to the margin. Sophie Conway was kicking them from everywhere. She was amazing. One from close to the boundary in this late in the game as well. As easy as you like. She had to kick this, and there was no pressure. You're absolutely right, Kane, but she had to kick that because she had a couple of teammates out. And then in Coffs Harbour yesterday, AFLW was in Coffs Harbour. Dominant win to Richmond. Sydney's season is not getting off to a great start there. Katie Brennan kicked 3 and Maddie Shevlin kicked a couple of rippers as well. And Richmond got the job done there by 46 and improved their record to 2-1. She's got a great leg on her.
Outside the top 4, the dominated for years, who do you think is a team that's genuine this year?
Well, it's so exciting. Yeah. So as the ladder stands right now, all top 8 teams are equal in first position. So only percentage is separating the top 8 at the moment. So we've seen St Kilda has a chance this week to remain undefeated. Adelaide take on Hawthorn in a top of the table clash tomorrow. I think it's anyone's season at the moment. We're seeing a lot of surprising results, which is just making it really exciting.
We saw you with Nina before and have a good chat to her. They lost to the Blues, the Cats, but they had to battle the elements as well.
Yeah, and the Cats are one of a surprise packet so far in terms of they've only had a draw and 2 losses, but this is a really great win by Carlton. There was genuinely every kind of weather imaginable at Icon Park yesterday. There was sunshine, wind, rain and even hail, so really, really trying conditions. The Blues got up by 24 points and kept Geelong goalless, which was quite remarkable. And then an absolute thriller, this from an Irish star, Amy Mulholland, using the breeze to absolute perfection at Alberton Oval yesterday. Port Adelaide led right up until the final quarter. Fremantle kicked 2 late goals, this one by the former skipper Hayley Miller, to put them in front late in the game. And again, Fremantle, that win put them in the top 8 on percentage. They improved their record to 2-1 as well. So a really thrilling start to the AFLW
bad loss from Port Adelaide there. Midweek footy starts next week. How's this all going to work?
Yeah, it's really exciting. So this is one of the initiatives in season 2024. So from now until October 13, there is an AFLW match on every day of the week except for Monday and the AFL Men's Grand Final. So over the next 4 weeks, a little bit complicated, but all 18 clubs will play twice in a week at some stage during that 4-week block, and all the midweek matches are aligned with school holidays across Australia. So they have an extra game in 2024, so 11 games in 10 weeks, and they've just compressed the fixture for the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be really interesting to see crowd figures and TV figures over the next few weeks. So please get down and support the AFLW. Really intrigued to see how this works.
Yeah, and I still think there's so many options available to grow the game even further, because the scheduling at the moment is just not doing it any favours at all, I don't think. So.
No, I think they're committing to the 10-week block at the moment. I'm really intrigued to see how midweek footy goes. I'm open to the concept, but to me, not as an alternative to extending the fixture. So I don't want to see 12 games in 10 weeks, 13 games in 10 weeks. So open to the idea and seeing if the concept works. But we do need, I think, the season to extend further.
All right, well said. Jess Webster joining us there, as she will every Sunday between now. How many more Sundays have we got?
2.
Geez, you did that off pretty quick, didn't you?
He's on. Well, the grand final's in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
it was
counting down, aren't you, Lotto?
To be fair, in his defence, it was a silly question.
Oh, gee, I tell you what, you were willing to attack him, and then suddenly
I thought about it, and I was like,
pity you don't do that more often. All right, now, to round us off, here's Damo. A bit of plasma work for your animal fact.
It is today, TJ. It's a special one because Chris Fagan was really happy last night. In fact, he was quite joyous, and he just wanted to get around his players post-match to give them a hug and just show what it meant to him. So he started off there with Harris Andrews, and then he had a go at Joey Danaher, and then the others wanted some as well. There's a llama doing something there as well, but all these goats. Kai Lohman got into the mix, Brownie, and then Harris Andrews wanted another one, and Cam Rayner wanted a hug. Just very happy, Brownie.
Who's the llama?
Is that it?
Oh, no. They're just happy.
Is there a tag?
Chris Fagan's happy.
Yeah, that's
After all the content I send you, you come up with that.
You sent me that one.
No, I did not
send you that one.
No.
What's your thoughts, Jess?
Yeah, I'm not sure where you were going with that. I don't know, to be honest, but
as Laura
it was
pointed
cute.
out,
It looked really cute.
Yeah, we've got 2 shows to go. I'll run out.
You've been busy at the post office sending him animal facts and your show reel to Steve Crawley.
You've let yourself down. You've let yourself down.
Mixtape.
Yeah, mixtape.
Yeah. I don't have a mixtape.
A mixtape.
90-minute mixtape.
Anyway, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it is Louis' handball. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. I've had fun today.
It's been a great show. Kane's been in good form. A couple of weeks ago, a little bit off, but he's back to his best.
He was a little bit off because you just laid into him from the get-go. No, I did not. I'm his greatest supporter on this panel, aren't I, Kane?
You are, TJ.
Ryan Shellmakers and Shannon Burns are our guests today on the handball. Both players enjoying premiership success over the journey. Welcome to you, Shannon.
Thanks, TJ. Good to be on the show.
Well, how are you feeling?
Yeah, the Cats are in a good spot, I suppose. Good to be back in preliminary final week. We're on holidays this time last year, so yeah, much better feeling to be in the finals.
Oh, well, let's talk about your own career because we're taking a look at some of the highlights here. Take us through these.
Yeah, got lucky there, got a lucky bounce. Don't know what much more to say about that one. Nice crumb.
That's a good front and centre.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Look at that. That's just
Who's off in the one game, are they? Probably. That's
Shannon, you're a 2-time premiership player, and what do you reckon is the key this time of year?
Well, a healthy list is half the battle, I think, when you get to this point of the year. But yeah, it's nice to have the week off, but yeah, you need your best players in form as well. And I was just talking to a few of the boys off air. I think it's the young players that can step up, and we saw Sean Manor do that in our first final. I think they're the guys that can really take your team to another level.
Speaking of the younger players, what about the older player who you actually played in a couple of premierships with, Tom Hawkins? Is he any chance to come back in, surprisingly?
Well, yeah, he played VFL on the weekend, and you would have seen one of his trademark goals if you'd watched that game at the start of that match. Grabbed it out of the ruck and check-sided it from 50. So he's ready to go. Whether he comes in or not is another story. We've got Shannon Neal, who's been playing some really good footy for us, and Jez Cameron. So he might be relying on an injury or two to get himself back in there, but it's nice to have someone like Tom waiting in the wings if we need him.
Also got Ryan Schoenmakers. Guess where I saw him on Friday, Tony?
Adelaide?
Gaucho Steakhouse.
Hang on. Did you pay for yours?
Someone else picked up the bill, but I'm not sure what it was. That's all right.
Listen, are we just some sort of platform for your freebies, are we?
No. It was a great day, though. Friday, you went over for Luke Bruce 300th.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a few of the boys. I reckon there's about a dozen of us that flew over, made the journey. So it was a good day all round.
Private plane style, I hear.
Yeah. I think that might have been in there somewhere.
Well, how'd that come about?
Again, just an Inner Hawk, a sponsor of the club, sort of organised that. We thought about getting the bus over, and just a few boys had to get back for some other things on Saturday night, and just a bit more convenient.
Take a look at your highlights here, and there were plenty of them. Some special moments.
Well, this one's against Geelong, so there's probably not too many highlights against these boys. Some tough times against them, but and this one, 15 flag, that sort of speaks itself.
And Ron, you were emergency, were you, for one of the others?
The flags?
Yeah.
Did my knee in the first one, so 13 I was out with a knee reconstruction all year, and then 14 I just sort of came up a bit short late and watched from the sidelines.
What are you up to now? What's life look like?
Finance, construction finance at the moment. Work for a company called Wingate in the city, so funding a bit of developments all around the place in Melbourne. Tough time at the moment.
And from Norwood originally in Adelaide. A great ground. We got to know it pretty well during gather round for us non-South Australians. Some great footballers have come out of there, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot, even just from Hawthorn. Paul Piopolo played in a couple of flags in Norwood before he came over. But you're right. The ground itself, the parade on a Friday night is pretty special. Great place to watch footy.
It is.
It's a great prize pack, so you've got to beat 82 at the moment. Cooper Sharman up there, 82. There's an asterisk next to Dylan on 88, but this is the best prize pack in the business.
Why is there an asterisk next to
Because he was so close. He was probably from me to you away. So
the target wasn't moving.
Yeah. Okay, so the Temper mattress is the best in the business. Jason Nicholas and the team out at Temper. I found out last week Isaac Heaney's also a ambassador of a Temper after that massive mark and big final last week. So Temper, they are just the best.
You've got one, Kane,
They are recognised by NASA and the Callaway, the top floor. Have a look at those Callaway. So
are they the ones you use when you play at Royal Melbourne?
Yes, they are, Tony. So you sleep well on the Temper and then you hit them well with the Callaways during the week. So the best prize pack in the business. You've got 82 to beat.
Okay, who can do it? Who wants to go first? So you know the rules, 5 off each hand.
Yep.
All right, you can start with whatever hand you like. So first up is Shannon Burns.
7. 7.
Oh, put some oomph into it, Shannon.
Just give it a bit.
7.
21. Lordo. You can do that again. You threw the ball right in front of him.
Yeah, it's okay. Apologies. 5 anyway. 7.
7. So he moves to... I don't reckon he's 38. I reckon he's 33. So you
well, so we gave him one extra. So we go because there was one extra handball in there.
33. Yep. Thank you. Very nice. Right.
5.
Good hands, Damo.
7.
Oh, there's a bullseye coming up here.
It's coming.
7. Oh, 19.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
29. And bang, look at that. 39. Oh, so that is a good start. Back to Burnsy.
Righto, Shannon. Come on.
7.
Moves to 40.
7.
47.
5.
52. 2. 54.
7.
And 61. So 23 to win.
All right, mate.
On the left.
7.
Solid 2.
Yeah.
46.
7.
53.
Oh, hands, Lordo.
63.
This guy is on fire.
7.
70. This has been impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
And he goes to 77. That is the biggest victory
77. So you actually move up to 4th, just behind. You would have played with Matt Spanger, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So just behind Matt Spanger there. So that is a very, very good effort. So our winner today is Ryan Schoenmakers and Shannon Burns. Mate, all the very best for the coming weekend.
I appreciate that, mate. I'll go home and work on that.
Well, the good thing is the boys aren't going to remind you of it through the week.
No, it won't come up at all.
You played a few games out of Deer Park, I hear.
I did. I played a few this year, yeah.
The plastic bag, the paper bag?
No, it's all about
It's the Stevie J.
You really do ask some stupid questions.
Plastic bag.
It wasn't even a question. All right, that does wrap it up.
Plastic band, Brownie.
All right, that does wrap up this edition of the Sunday Foot. What?
Nothing.
I'm not joking, mate. Even if I just get one in, right, that'll satisfy me.
Right, that does wrap it up for this edition of the Sunday Footy Show. Whatever you might be doing for the remainder of the day, you enjoy yourself, and as he always says,
may the sun shine on you today.
bye for now.